إنه خير ناصر ومعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام. May Allah reward you and magnify your reward and our reward for commemorating what took place with Hussein alayhi salam. And may He place you and us among those who will seek revenge for the blood that was spilled on Karbala with the Imam of our time. On this day of Ashura, on this dhuhr of Ashura, we send our salutations to the Imam of our time and our condolences to the Imam of our time. There was a companion by the name of Ibn Shabib who one time visits Imam Rida alayhi salam, and he sees that Imam Rida is in a special state of mourning. He asks him why. The Imam tells him that it is the month of Muharram. Don't you know what took place in the month of Muharram? This is the month that is supposed to be a month of haram, where there is supposed to be no fighting. But this ummah on this month, they did not observe the sanctity of the month, nor did they observe the sanctity of the son of the Prophet. He goes on to tell him, Ya ibn Shabib, O the son of Shabib, إن كنت باكيا لشيء فابكي للحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب. O Shabib, if you're going to cry for anything, if you're going to shed a tear, then let that tear be for Hussein, the son of Ali, the son of Abi Talib. Because he was the one who was slaughtered the same way they slaughter an animal for sacrifice. He tells him that along with Hussein, 18 of his family members were killed on that day. Our responsibility on such a day is to shed tears, to remember what took place and to mourn. Let us shed tears of sadness. Let us shed tears of repentance. Let us shed tears of longing for the Imam of our time as we remember what took place in Karbala. And to my younger brothers and sisters, just before we begin the Masaib, I want to encourage you to try your best to adopt the mourning rituals. It may be difficult at first, but if you cast your head down, and you take the help of Bibi Fatima Zahra salamullahi alayha, indeed, inshallah, tears will come to your eyes as well, and you can participate in this great occasion that we are commemorating. Regarding Bibi Fatima Zahra, we're told that when our Prophet informed her what was going to happen to Hussein, and all the different difficulties that he's going to face. بكت فاطمة بكاء شديدا. Fatima begins to weep very severely. وقالت يا أبتي متى يكون ذلك. Oh my father, when is that going to take place? He tells her that it's going to be in a time when I will not be there. You will not be there either. And Ali won't be there either. Fatima al-Zahra begins to cry even more. And she asks her father, فَمَنْ يَبْكِي عَلَيْهِ. Who is going to be there to cry for him? After all, a mother would like to cry over what happens to her son. And who is going to be there to commemorate what took place and to mourn for him? The Prophet informs her and assures her, "O Fatima, don't worry, the ladies of my ummah will always cry over what took place to the ladies of my Ahlul Bayt. And the men of my ummah will always cry over what took place to the men of my Ahlul Bayt. And every year, generation after generation, they will commemorate what took place and they will shed tears for that." Let us go now to the day of Ashura on the plains of Karbala. It is after Salatul Dhuhr, one by one, after reciting their last prayer, those valiant companions went forth and gave their lives for the sake of their Imam and Allah. After them comes time for the family of the Ahlul Bayt, Ali Akbar, Qasim, Aun Muhammad, Salamullahi alayhim ajma'een. And then comes time for Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. After Abbas alayhi salam is killed, Imam Hussain alayhi salam looks to the right. He sees no one there. He looks to the left. There is no one left from his people, from his men. He must have seen on the ground. This is where those companions who were just with him some time ago are now sprawled on the ground. Their heads have been taken away from them. On the other hand, he hears the orphans and the children crying out over the loss of their uncle, over the loss of their brothers, over not having water. At this point, Imam Hussain alayhi salam cries out, هل من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله هل من واحد يخاف الله فينا. Who is there to help the haram of the Messenger of Allah? The cries of the women only intensify. There is no one left to answer the call. Suddenly, from the tent of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, we see that Imam Sajjad is coming out from the tent responding to the call of his father. He has his sword in one hand, but he is too ill to support himself. On the other hand, he has a staff that he needs to lean on. When Hussein sees him, he calls out to Kulthum, Ihbisihi, don't let him go forward. If he goes, then the earth will not have anyone from the family of Muhammad. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is there without any helpers. He begins to recite frequently, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. He gets ready because he knows it is now his time. He asks for the cloak of the Prophet. He puts it on. he calls together his family. O Zainab, O Kulthum, O Sakina, O Ruqayya, O Fatima, I wish to say salam to you one last time. He goes to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, and he gives him those teachings and those relics that he will need in order to take on the position of Imama after him. He tells the women, be patient, don't cry so much. At this point, he takes the baby one last time. Perhaps he wants to see if he can guide those people. But instead of taking mercy on the baby, they fire the arrow and he comes back with his hands filled with blood from his infant baby son. Imam Hussain alayhi salam readies himself for battle. He goes out to the enemy army crying out his battle cry. Ana al-Hussain ibn Ali, alaytu an la anthani, ahmi iyalati abi, amdi ala din al-nabi. If you want to know me, I am Hussein, the son of Ali. I swear I will never bow or bend to you. I will forever protect the family of my father, remaining on the Prophet's creed. History narrates that Imam Hussain is unstoppable. He attacks the right side of the army, they cannot stop him. He goes to the left side, they can do nothing on that side. Umar ibn Sa'ad realizes that this way it's not going to work. He calls out to his soldiers, La'anatullahi alayh. He tells them, don't you know who this is? This is the son of the Qattal of the Arabs. This is the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. There's no way you're going to be able to defeat him in hand-on-hand combat. He tells them, go and attack him as a group and fire those arrows. On one hand, they cock their arrows to their bows. History narrates that 4,000 arrows are fired at Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. On the other hand, they want to distract Imam Hussein. They send a group of their soldiers towards the tents of the women. Imam Hussain alayhi salam cannot tolerate this happening. He calls out to them, O followers of Abi Sufyan, إن لم يكن لكم دين وكنتم لا تخافون المعاد. If you don't think that there's a hereafter, if you don't accept the religion of Islam, then at least be free people. Don't chain yourself to your desires and to the dunya. Umar ibn Sa'ad yells back at him. He says that we don't understand what you're saying. Imam Hussain tells him that leave my women alone, leave my children alone while I'm alive. Deal with me, but don't go and attack them and don't harm them. Imam Hussain alayhi salam continues fighting, but eventually he realizes that it can only go on for so long. He goes back to the tent of the women and the children. This time they can tell that this is a very serious parting and departure. This is the farewell. This is the final farewell that will take place between Hussein and his sister and his wife and his children and his daughters. We cannot imagine what sort of difficult thing this is. What is he going to tell them? He tells them, oh my sister, oh my sisters, oh my family, ista'iddu lil bala, prepare yourselves for a great calamity. You should know that Allah will always protect you. You will never be absent from the help of Allah, even though the enemies will give you so much difficulty. He must have been telling them that it will soon be the case that you'll be taken prisoner. He must have been telling them to be patient despite the chains that they will put on your bodies. Be patient despite how they will treat you when you enter Kufa and Sham. Imam Hussain alayhi salam must have had some special words with his sister Zainab, telling her that after me, it will be you who will be in charge, because my son Imam Ali Sajjad is not able at this point to take charge of our caravan. But he sees that there is one small girl who is standing apart from the rest of the women. This small girl is crying severely. It is Sakina, his beloved daughter. He goes to her. The father is going to his beloved young daughter. She asks him, "Oh my father, istaslamta lil maut. Oh my father, it seems that you finally are now getting ready for death. Oh my father, will I never see you again?" He tells her, "Oh Sakina, be patient. Be patient. There will be a day of judgment when justice will be seen." Umar ibn Sa'd la'anatullahi alayhi sees that this is the opportunity that he's been waiting for. He tells his army, right now is the time that you should strike, when he is with his women. They have no mercy. They begin to fire a volley of arrows into the tents of the women folk. The women are terrified. They begin to run in every corner. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is very angry. He comes out without any fear and he faces them. But they cannot do anything against him. They say that he's like an angry lion who is charging against his prey. He keeps on repeating the line, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim." Imam Hussain alayhi salam is fighting bravely without any fear. But after all, he is one man against 30,000 soldiers. It is the plains of Karbala. It is the noon time. It is the afternoon when the sun is overhead and it is very hot. Eventually Imam Hussain alayhi salam is overcome by thirst. He asks if he can have some water. Shimr la'anatullahi alayhi says to him, "You will not taste water until you reach the fire." After all, Imam Hussain is a human being. There comes a point in the afternoon when the beloved Imam alayhi salam is too tired and weary to fight. He stands to rest. A man comes to him from the enemy. He takes up a stone and he throws it at the forehead of our Imam. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is the so-called Ummah of Muhammad. They're throwing rocks. They're throwing rocks at the son of Fatima. Don't they know that this is one of the five Al-Ahlul Kisa? Don't they know that this was the one who was present on the day of Mubahila? Don't they know that this is the one who was Sayyida Shababi Ahlul Jannah? He throws a stone at Imam Hussain. Blood fills the face of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He takes his shirt to wipe the blood off of his face, but another man shoots him with an arrow. The arrow pierces his chest, and immediately Imam Hussain cries out, "Bismillahi wa billahi wa ala millati Rasulillah." He now knows that the time is near where he will meet his Lord. He cries out, "Oh Allah, you know they are killing a man who is the son of your Prophet's daughter." He takes the blood from his forehead and wipes it on his face. And he says, "This is the way I'm going to meet my grandfather, and I will complain to him. I will complain to him that these are the ones who killed me." With so many wounds, with so many difficulties, eventually Imam Hussain has to sit down on the grounds of Karbala. He no longer has the strength to defend himself. A man comes to him and strikes him on his helmet. He has to take it off and wrap his head with his amama to stop the blood from flowing. Another man, he takes up his sword. He is about to strike the Imam alayhi salam. Suddenly a young boy comes running from the tents. Who is this young boy? It is none other than Abdullah, the brother of Qasim, the son of Hassan. Abdullah has been watching what they're doing to his uncle. He's watching what they've been doing to the only father figure he's known. He cannot bear this any longer. He comes running from the tent. Imam Hussain alayhi salam sees this young boy. It's not a place for boys to be. It's the battlefield. He tells Kulthum, my sister, stop him. Don't let him come on the battlefield. She tries to stop him, but she cannot do so. He comes running. The man is about to strike with his sword. He tells him, he tells him, Yabn al-Khabitha, are you going to strike my uncle? Don't strike him. The soldier doesn't listen to this boy. He's just a boy after all. The sword comes down onto the body of this child. Imam Hussain alayhi salam takes his nephew in his arms and tells him, oh my nephew, be patient over what's taking place. Don't worry, you will soon be with your father Hassan and your grandfather, the Prophet Muhammad. Harmala cannot bear this. He cocks an arrow and fires it, and it pierces Abdullah ibn al-Hassan's body. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is on the plains of Karbala. Some reports say that for 3 hours he's lying there with his blood. The enemy doesn't know what to do. They cannot find somebody who's brave enough, who is brave and bold enough to finish this off. Shimmer's trying to encourage them. He's telling them, why are you standing there? Who's going to do this? He's so weak. Don't worry, he's not going to be able to defend himself. Attack him. One of them goes forward, he strikes him on the left shoulder. Another one fires an arrow into his mouth. Another one strikes him on the right shoulder. Another stabs him in the chest and fires an arrow into his neck. This is the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. He tells them that don't worry, my grandfather, I will soon meet him in a special place and I'll complain to him about what you're doing to me. Salamullahi alayhi, salamullahi ala Hussein. He is lying there for 3 hours. He knows that the time is near. His condition worsens. He raises his eyes to the sky. In his last dua, in his last conversation with Allah, his last munajat, Imam Hussain alayhi salam never forgets about Allah. He cries out, Allahumma muta'ali al-makani azim al-jabaruti shadid al-mihal sabran ala qada'ik. I am very patient with whatever you decree, O Allah. Ya Rabbi, you are my Lord. La ilaha siwak. Ya ghiyath al-mustaghithin. Zainab salamullahi alayha is watching what's taking place. It seems that perhaps she heard the supplication of Imam Hussain. She knows these types of words are only uttered by one who is about to depart this world. She comes running out. She cries out. She wants some help, but who is there to help her? She calls out, oh Muhammad, oh my father Ali, Oh Ja'far, oh Hamza, but they are not there to help her. هذا حسين بالعراء ضريع بكربلاء. This is Hussein in the open sands of Karbala. She cries out to Umar ibn Sa'd, Oh Umar, أيقتل أبو عبد الله وأنت تنظر إليه. Are you going to let the son of, are you going to let Imam Hussein be killed and you're just looking at him? Umar ibn Sa'd begins to cry, but he just looks away. He cries out to his men, finish it off. Shimar la'natullahi alayhi steps forward. He kicks the blessed body with his foot. La'natullahi alayhi. He sits on the chest of Imam Hussain. He takes his beard in his hand. He strikes him 12 times with his sword, and then he readies his dagger for the final stroke to commit the awful deed. Zainab salamullahi alayha is watching what's taking place. Let us hear what she might have been thinking at this point. He ran and I ran. He ran towards the killing pit while I ran towards the killer himself. He sat down and I sat down. He sat down on my brother's chest. I sat down not able to do anything to stop him. He drew and I drew. He drew the dagger from his belt while I drew a sigh of pain and grief. He severed and I severed. He severed my brother's head while I severed my hope from anyone but Allah. Salamullahi alayhi. Salamullahi alayhi. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. One of them comes forward. He takes the shirt off the blessed body. One steals his sandals. One steals his turban. One steals his sword. One takes the piece of velvet on which he used to sit. One stole his outer garments. They even say that he had a ring on his finger that would not come out, so one cut off the finger. They even say that one came to him and saw that there was no outer garment, so he even wanted to steal the undergarments. La'natullahi alayhi. The horse of Imam Hussain alayhi salam has no rider. The horse that the women folk used to say, take so much comfort in seeing has no rider. The horse makes its way back to the tents of the women. They hear the horse coming. Maybe they think that Imam Hussain alayhi salam is going to come back one more time to bid farewell. Maybe Sakina alayhi salam is thinking that things have changed and her father will be with her again. But when she sees the horse with no rider, she realizes what has happened. She has only one question for the horse. What does she ask it? She asks it, Ya Jawad Abi. Oh, the horse of my father. Hal suqiya Abi. Did they give him water before he... Al suqiya bihi am qutilat shana, or did he die with thirsty lips? Ala la'natullahi al qawm al-zalimin.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.